Alright guys, so for this ring tutorial, the materials I'm going to be using is 20 gauge and 26 gauge standard round wire, and of course I'm using the rose gold colored silver plated non-tarnished front pair wire. I'm using 3 sections, 8 inches each, as well as a full arm span of the 26 gauge, which I want to say my full arm span is something like 58 inches, I believe, or something right around there. Could be close. I keep on hand, when making a ring, I always keep on hand my 3/4 inch spring clamp, because I find it helps hold the wires together and it gives me something a little bit extra to grip on. Of course, you'll need your flush cutters to cut the wire. I like to use my nylon jaw to flatten everything out and get everything looking nice. And then I like to use my small pair of bent nose pliers also. Though if you have a thicker pair of bent nose pliers, probably have those handy because I like to use those too. And probably keep on hand, if you have some flat nose pliers, just in case. If you don't want to use bent nose pliers, you can probably use your standard chain nose pliers or tweezer nose pliers, any kind like that. This is just what I have and what I keep on hand and what I prefer. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead, set everything aside. So if you want, go ahead and pause the video now if you're going to make this along with me. That way you can get out your wires, you can cut them all to the size and length that you want and you need. Today will be making a size 10 to fit on my ring finger, but luckily I am making this for a friend of mine. You will want to size accordingly, as well as do any kind of measuring. Basically what you can do is just take a bit of scrap paper. I like using this small sticky paper. I can't think of what it's called. And just quite literally wrap it around your finger. Okay, and it goes almost exactly. That is what's nuts. That's almost exactly the length that I need. So then what you can do it with a piece of paper, you can do it with a bit of scrap wire, what have you, and then put it together. So really, for my middle finger, I would need it to be here, as you can see, or hope you can see. So that would actually end up being a 12, but we're going to make a 10. So that is one way that you can measure your finger so that you know how much of your wire that you will need for your band, or how much to go around, because you would want to have so much left for the top. So this way you can estimate how much you need for the band. So for the band, I would probably need that much, excluding all of this. So this is roughly not quite 2.5 inches, about 2 1/3 inches, something like that. So at this point, you choose the weave that you want to do. And of course, again, this is for the band. I'm going to move this stuff out of the way. Get your wire. Once you have your weaving wire cut, I always like to run my hand over it, over the entire length of wire. For one, you're heating it up just a little bit just by hand, and it's helping to straighten it out. Okay, so I can sit here and I can do this right here to it. Okay, and it's back straight. So that's what I prefer to do with my weaving wire. So then you're going to take one of your sections of wire, however long you have. I have 8 inches on each of these. And I'm going to do this up here towards the top because it makes it much easier. And I'm going to leave a tail. As you can see, there's a little tail. Wrap this one time. And then you're going to come in. At this point, I'm going to bring this on down. And you see I'm going to leave a good little bit. I'm actually going to bring it up because I want the middle. Roughly, I want the middle of my wire to be wrapped. I'm going to bring another section of wire in. I'm going to try to keep the ends pretty close to the same length. But I'm going to bring this wire, the weaving wire, up and over just that wire that we just added. Okay. So now it's coming back down. Bring in my third piece of wire. And I'm going to wrap just that one again. And again, you can do absolutely whatever weave that you choose to do. This is just what I'm doing. At this point, this is where I'm going to bring in my my spring clamp, just to help hold the wires in place, give me a little something extra to hold on to. And I'm going to bring this up to where my weave is. So you see I have a pretty little tail sticking out there. Alright, and oops, got a little too far. There we go. Alright, and so I want to try to bring this flat as close as I can. Okay. And you can use your pliers at this point if you want, or you can do like I just did and use my nails. So at this point, you can either keep wrapping up individually, you could do whatever really you want to. But I'm going to bring this up and back, and then I'm going to feed the wire between the top two, one full rotation. Okay, bring it in, down again. Okay, and then between the bottom two. And then between the top two to do a full rotation on the middle and around the bottom. Try to get it to lay down, to stay laying down. And then all the way back up. Okay, now at this point you can kind of see how it's looking, if it'll focus. There we go. Okay, now the back looks quite a bit different. Okay, it almost looks twisted there. That's kind of neat. Gonna come back up, and I'm actually gonna do this one more time. I'm gonna do it at my regular speed because I want to show you how that looks on the back. It looks a lot different. So when you get to where you've gotten your full section of weaving done, you actually have two different weaves that you can choose from, a front and a back. So you can choose whichever side it is that you want to use. Try to get it to focus here. Focus. It doesn't want to focus. So that's as good as we get. And I'm actually... How about like that? Let's see if it'll do it that way. There we go. That's better. So you can see that it looks twisted, and that is absolutely neat. Well, here's the front, so we have the bare wires, or not the bare wires, but the straight ones showing, and that's a pretty neat look too. So you can choose whichever one you want to do. You can, like I said, you don't have to do the weave that I'm doing. You can do whatever you want to. But from here, I'm going to do about 2 inches or so, and then we're going to come back. I'm going to see if it's going to be enough, or if we need to continue on, or what we're going to do, and we'll see you back here in a second. All right, and I'm back. I have 2 inches of my ring band weaved here, and after doing, little by little, I'll come through, like I said, with my nylon jaw pliers, flatten it down really, really nice, and then also squish it together, get it really tight. I like for this weave to be really tight because I think it looks really nice. So this is what it looks like on this side. This is the side that I will have facing out of the ring band. and this is the opposite side. It looks really nice as well, so you can choose either one if you're doing a weave like this one. But I personally, I'm going to choose to do this side. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to go ahead and take off my my spring clamp. I'm going to set this at 10, a size 10, like I said. And I'm going to go ahead and bend it on over. I want this set of wires to go up, and I want this set of wires to go down, okay? And this is what I'm choosing to do. I don't want these to crisscross, at least not yet. So I'm going ahead and I'm bending it on over, trying to make sure that I'm keeping it at a size 10, kind of keeping it straight a little bit. So I can see that I actually can do just a little bit more weaving on this to get it to come closer, but I think that this will actually be okay for what we're going to be doing it for. I think it'll be okay. So now that we've got the general size, and you see it kind of springs back out down to a 11.5, but that's okay because we'll get it tightened up, which actually we can come up and tighten it up to a 9, and it'll come out to a 10 or so. So we're going to leave it as it is. And then one thing that I want to do, I'm going to leave the rest of my weaving wire on for right now, just in case for some reason if we decide to do any more weaving. So I'm going to bend this at a fairly sharp angle, and I'm going to do all 3 of these this way. And I don't want to do them all together because I've noticed that when I bend my wires together, I won't get as sharp of an angle as I would bending them individually. So I'm going to do the same thing with this side. Fairly sharp angle. Trying to keep them still fairly in line with each other, okay? But at this point now, what I want to do is I want to create a nice curve. Okay, and that might be a bit sharp right there. So I'm just going to bring it in a little bit. Keep this one about the same. Kind of bring that up just a little and then back. Looks pretty good. And then this one as well. And then I'm just going to kind of bend them all together. And that gives a nice little look. You can see there. I'm going to flip this around. Get this side to try to do the same thing. Okay. And that's bending at a different spot, but that's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Bend that one. Try to get it about the same. Dead air. I hate dead air. So, it's fairly close. They're not going to be exact, and that's okay. Because now what I want to do is now at this point I do want my wires to interlock a little bit. So I want to bring, I'm trying to think. I want to bring, I'm going to flip this actually, because this is how I want to hold it. I want this wire to be down here so I don't get it twisted and tangled. I'm going to bring, let's see, I'm going to actually open it up just a little, and that'll make it easier. So I can keep the shape of my wires a bit more. And I'm going to cross this wire in here, okay, between these two, as you can see. I'm going to cross this one in here, so that leaves this one out and that one out. And then I'm going to pull it back together, so you can see that makes it very nice looking. I'm just trying to straighten that band up a little bit again. Okay. Now what I want to do is, I think, because we're just kind of even though I'm showing how this ring looks at the very beginning of the video, I'm just kind of I'm just kind of creating, and I'm losing this. I'm just kind of creating as I go. So when I actually filmed the beginning with the whole thing made, I actually I actually do that part after I have made the ring itself. So I'm just kind of trying to straighten the band up a little bit. And at this point, let's see. You can do just about any number of things that you would want to. And I think I want to... Let's see. I think I'm going to ponder on it for a second. So I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to ponder, and then I'll come back when I've made my decision. Okay, so I'm back. One thing that I did do, I noticed that these wires right here were sticking almost straight up, whereas these were flat, which I'm going to kind of get them out just a little bit, and I flattened those. And I think what I'm going to do, because these actually were crossing over here, and I tried to get them to cross more in the center. And so you see, it almost has a wave type of a look to it. I really like that. So I think what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to go ahead and pull this one in here. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and cross it on over, but I'm not cutting it yet. Okay. So that's going to kind of hold it. I'm going to flip this around and do the same thing with this one right here. Pull it in. Right there. Coming up and over. Okay, so that kind of helps to hold it together. And this way also we can do any adjustments we need. And before I get too far, I'm actually going to pull that one up. Check the size. So it's at a good size. I didn't have to force it or anything. I've got a little bit of room. I think that's going to be really good. So at this point, with it being just about the correct size, I do not want any of these to come around here and be too tight, because it will make it a smaller size. So I'm going to pull this wire up, and I'm just going to do the same thing with the other two. The other four, I should say, actually. And pull it up. Try to keep them side by side. Fairly tight. And back in. And also doing my best to keep this with its shape. And I can see it kind of misshapes it a little bit, but we'll get to that. We're going to get to that. And feed it in. Oh, you're in the way. Pull that one over here, pull this one up here, and then feed this one in. One good thing I've realized about round wire is that you can turn it and twist it, and other than it losing, kind of twisting up its shape itself, you can't tell that it's actually twisted, whereas with square wire you can. So with square wire you do have to be careful. So let's see how that looks right at the moment before we get too far. And I'm liking that. I mean, it's a totally different look. But I do see that these wires could come out a bit more. So I'm just going to kind of gently pull it out just a little bit. Just a little. And I'm going to kind of see. Come with this one. Where's that? This one right here. And kind of get it to get a little bit of more of a, there we go. I didn't do so well on that one. All right. And you know what? I think my person that I'm picking this for is still going to love it. I think she's still going to love it. So I'm bringing this one in a little bit tighter, along with this one as well, and this one. They all look like they could be just a hair tighter. So I still want to make sure that my size is about right, and it is. And again, I actually could bring everything in just a little bit tighter, but I think for demonstration purposes, I think I'm just going to leave it. So I'm going to take my weaving wire, and I see now I should have gone ahead and cut that. My bad. So let's find out where it starts and ends, and it is ending, or it's starting on this first wire, the first base wire. So I'm going to do my best to cut this absolutely as close as I can. And that's not as close as I would like it, but if you happen to be making with me and you have not gotten to this point, cut your wire. Cut your wire. I'm going to do the same with this one. This one is right here. Come in with the bad boys right here. And cut absolutely as close as I can. So I do have a little bit of wire left over. Not too bad. That's not bad. Could have been worse. I'm gonna try to find my wire end and flatten that down, that weaving wire. Okay. Alright, so this again is still not coming out quite like I want it. Trying to keep it its shape. Can be difficult, but that's okay. So now, see, this one's crossing, so I'm going to pull this over his way. And I'm just going to go ahead, trim this one to right there. Okay. Trim that to about the same, about right there. And same with that one. I'm actually going to come in with my thicker flat nose. Pull that one out of the way. Flatten that down really nice. And I want to move that one out of the way a little bit. Flatten that down, and I'm going to try to get them to sit side by side. Okay. It's not scratching or anything, yay. Okay. Pull this one up, set that down, and about right here. Oh, okay. About right here. Pretty good. Okay. All right. I personally do like to leave a fairly decent amount of weave, or of the base wire on top, because you can flatten that out much easier. I don't like to take any chances of ending any base wires on the inside, just in case for accidental purposes. I would much rather leave these base wires visible on the top and not scratch. So that's it. That's the ring. Oh, and it fits marvelously. And look at how that looks. It's almost like ocean waves. It's almost like ocean waves. Isn't that gorgeous? So obviously it is a size 10 because it fits on my ring, my middle finger, wonderfully. So it actually ended up being considerably bigger, but I think part of that's because this has a groove. So, but that's okay that it ended up a little bit larger, because if you want to make it smaller, you can pull these out, tighten them up a little bit, and you know, tighten it up if you want, anything like that. You can always take these and like swirl them around instead of cutting them off anymore. Anything like that, really. And I'm just trying to get the band to lay fairly straight. And yeah, that looks pretty good. That's pretty good. So, that's going to be it for this one. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you like it. And I hope that you guys, I mean, it's as well as this turned out, it could have turned out better, because especially these are coming up higher than these are. But that's okay. Because I still think that this is quite a gorgeous ring. It turned out wonderfully. It can almost fit. Yeah, it could fit right there. Really good too. So, if you like this, please give it a thumbs up, like it, share it, subscribe for more videos. And if you have any thoughts, comments, suggestions, anything like that, please leave that in the comment section down below. And you guys, if you have not hit the notification bell icon, please hit that as well. You can find me on Facebook at HNS Designs Now. And you guys, that's going to be it for today. Hope you guys have a great day. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.